JW has signed into GADcast. That was the GAD House band. Sorry, our last band died in a tragic sewer hole accident. Sewer fell in a sewer, and the Ninja Turtles thought that they were ninjas.
I thought there was something wrong with their sewer holes. And
yeah, they fed them pizza, and they're allergic to pizza, and they died.
Their sewer hole broke out, and they got sick and died.
We got Simon and the Garfunkels to fill in for them.
Simon and the Garfunkels?
Yes, that's how the band was called.
Anyway, Simon and Garfunkel.
That was Simon and the Garfunkels.
No, you're wrong. Look it up. Google it. Ask Siri. Anyway, so we have two guests tonight. Our first guest is Jesse. Jesse, would you like to introduce yourself?
That's my name.
What's your last name?
Oh, Norris.
Jesse Norris. All right.
I guess that's important since there's two Jessies.
And we also have Kevin. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Kevin Spann. Used to book shows around here. If you dig deep enough on YouTube, sometimes I used to go by Taylor Hawkins because of Jacob Reagan. And yeah, I guess that could.
Awesome. So we're just gonna dive right in here. Jesse, how'd you get into the filmmaking aspect of your life?
It's kind of like a weird story. I don't want to say weird, but there's like two big parts to it, right? So when I was little, and I think I spent an entire summer in my grandmother's in Florida, which is actually where I was born. So I went there, and she had this like small digital camera, and she like buys too many of everything. So she was like, "Here's this one that I only had for 6 months, but I have 3 new ones already. So here's this one. Take this one, and just do whatever you want." And so then my grandpa is like one of the coolest people in the world. He's actually like one of the reasons I play music, between him and my dad. And he plays drums. So we started by just taking videos of me and him playing music in his garage in Florida. And then he had this clown suit that my grandmother made him when my mom was really little or whatever. So like it was for like a Halloween costume. And so he put that on, and then I'm like, oh, we should make a movie. And so the first thing that I've ever filmed, and that's on YouTube, is called The Boy Who Was Afraid of Clowns. And I was like 11 years old, I think, or no, I wasn't 11. I was way younger than that, probably like 7, somewhere in there. But that entire summer, we just made dumb little short films like that. I think there was one where we just played with action figures in front of the thing and made Gumby talk to the horse. What was the horse's name? I don't remember. But and started with just like things like that. And then about the time that Guardians of the Galaxy came out, which is funny that it's relevant now that James Gunn got fired, which is really sad. But when that came out, I started looking back into things that he had done, and I was like, this is the kind of things I want to do. Like I watched Super, I watched Slither, and at that same time,
That's trouble work.
Yeah. Which is why he's fired now.
Yeah.
This is trouble work. But
Trouble will probably take it back.
maybe. Yeah,
right.
they should. I mean, he did a lot of good work there, so.
That'd be a drastic pay cut.
And there's already a petition to get him back, but I don't
It's
know.
not. Yeah, Disney's not gonna pay attention to petitions.
No,
But there's 2 companies that don't pay, or there's 3 big companies that don't pay attention to movie petitions, and it's Warner Brothers, Disney, and Sony. None of them give a crap about petitions.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I mean, it's because they make so much money they don't have to really pay attention.
Yeah, they don't have to care about things.
Yes. But
When you're doing superhero stuff, I mean, you really can't listen anyway because fans always have the worst ideas for movies anyway.
Exactly.
I forgot to introduce Adam.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm Adam Harmless. I'm Adam Harmless. See, I try to do like you. I mess up saying that.
Good, yeah.
Adam Harmless.
And our other gracious co-host.
Yeah, I'm Andy Smith.
Andy Smythe.
All right, all GADcast signed in.
Yeah, we're here now.
All right, cool.
What the hell was I saying before you interrupted me interrupting?
We were talking about the superheroes having bad ideas, superhero fans having bad ideas for movies. But
I mean, if they'd never let anything interesting happen in comics or movies or anything,
Yeah.
they'd always be like, they're doing what?
Yeah. But I mean, that I was looking at the stuff and I'm like, this is the kind of stuff I want to do. So I started writing things back then. I wrote. Because I was big in superhero films back then, right? 2014 was a great year for movies. As far as superhero movies, like there was Big Hero 6, which still goes down as my favorite superhero movie so far.
That's awesome.
So so there's that. That was a lot of inspiration that year too. And they had a Justice League film that had been announced. I think it was that year it got announced, and I was like, I'm just gonna write Justice League fan scripts because like that was like my thing. You know, I grew up watching that over any animated series. Is that Justice League Unlimited one? So I started writing things like that. I probably wrote 100 different Justice League scripts. Most of them never got finished, but like I'd say at least 3 full ones. And now they're absolutely terrible. You know, like I go back and read it. I was like, oh man, I could do better now, and I'm not doing good now either. You know, so it's like.
And they might have been better than the current one we have.
Oh boy, I'm sure that movie had a good script. Terrible execution.
I'm sure that movie has several wonderful, great scripts.
Yeah.
That they stapled together.
Yeah. So as far as like things that I actually started filming, there's something I did called Flight that I put out in November of last year. Which is now taken down because I'm looking at things to like add stuff to it and redo it a little bit. Because I think like it's important to like, you know, be confident and like finish something before you put it out. But I think if you don't feel like you can't improve it, then I feel like you're like too big headed about it, you know. So like I took it down because I'm like I'm gonna do things to make this better because I feel like I can like make progress on it. But
Are you gonna put Jabba back in?
Yeah, I gotta edit Jabba over every character. Yeah, I gotta make every character Jabba or just, you know, one of those puppets. But I actually started filming that movie in 2015. I think it was like fall 2015, and I couldn't find the footage when I wanted to start doing it again in 2017, and so I just refilmed that. And then from there it was like, oh man. Homecoming came out. I really liked Homecoming, but they keep doing the same young Peter Parker, and I'm so tired of that.
Yeah.
And then Jacob Reagan's cosplaying everywhere, all over Facebook and Instagram, and you know.
That's what he does.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Every Robin.
Yeah, every Robin. You know, every good anime character he's cosplayed. You know, so I started writing this adult Spider-Man script, and also I'm a huge fan of Fantastic Four, right? And ironically, that terrible movie from 2015. Is another thing that made me want to make movies because I was like, I know, you know, I was 15 then, so I was like, I know I'm not good enough to write movies, but I can do better than that, you know. And the thing is, I even liked that movie. I defended that movie for a long time, but once I came to terms that it was terrible, you know, I was like, man, I have so many better ideas than that, you know. So and then I mean that filmmaker Josh Trank, The Chronicle, that made me want to make found footage movies too.
Yeah.
And I've got some stuff like that filmed. Like I probably have hours and hours of things that's filmed that I've probably not shown anybody but my parents.
Definitely. And if you ever want to like archive it or like you know, have it like whenever you start posting stuff online or any stuff that you talk about now or in the future that you can find online, definitely let us know because we'd love to have the links.
I can send.
We'll share the mess out of it.
Yeah. When I started writing the Spider-Man thing, it was like I'm putting the Fantastic Four in this. I'm putting characters from Fantastic Four.
I hate to interrupt. I hate to do this, but have you seen the Roger Corman Fantastic Four?
The one from the 90s?
The one that was supposed to be destroyed and everything.
Yes.
They made the documentary about it and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's really not that bad of a movie. I mean, for their budget and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a horrible movie.
Yeah, they're like 1 month production time, too. Like,
It wasn't the Jessica Alba one.
No. They made one. They didn't tell the people making it, but they made a Fantastic Four movie just so the studio could hang on to the rights.
Yeah.
And they got Roger Corman and crew to throw it together, and then right before releasing it, they just like ditched it. But you can find it on YouTube and stuff. And they made a documentary about it called Doomed.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot.
Looks great.
Yeah,
it was great.
Does he actually look great?
Yeah, he's better than any Doctor Doom that we've gotten since then.
I mean,
you can't understand a word he's saying, but he looks great.
That's fine.
It reminds me of all those, like, you know, the 70s live action Spider-Man TV show. Have you ever seen any of that? And those short movies, it reminds me of that and like the weird Doctor Strange thing they made in the 70s. It's like a combination of that. But again, watching that in the 9th grade made me think, the Fantastic Four is amazing. People can do that, right? So then I wanted to do the Spider-Man thing or whatever, and I got Jacob in on it because he was like really excited about it. He already had a Spider-Man costume, and then I had and what's cool is that, like, you know, I've been reading comics consistently since I was like 8 or 9 years old, and like when I read those, there's so many people around me that I'm like, that's this character, and it's kind of funny that as I was writing this stuff, I was writing it for no particular like people in real life that I know. But those people would just come into my life or re-enter my life, and I was like, "You're in it," or you know, "You want to be in it?" And then it was like things like that, and I don't know. It's a really exciting thing, even though it's not being finished yet. So.
Yes, and hopefully it will be, because like I've learned that the hardest thing to do is to start
Yeah.
And then to get it back going, you just got to show back up.
Yeah.
And even if you can't get the same people, you could always finish the film. You know, I mean, there's plenty. I mean, well, Roseanne's a bad example now.
Do like Roseanne, like don't do like that.
Yeah.
Bad advice.
Yeah. What are shows?
Take a bunch of Ambien, pick up your phone.
Yeah. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they switch moms. You know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, look, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Just keep the show going. You know.
Well, I still haven't finished my movies. I've made started Murder Boy and Christ a Go Go, and
well, if you need any actors,
the shower Blood Shower of the Mummy. So
those all sound like the good TV horror films I watch on Netflix.
I wrote a script, Chairman Mao's Pizza. Never shot any of that.
I'm in 2 short films and I haven't watched either of them. So
really,
you guys if you can somehow scour the internet and find them.
I was in a movie my brother made.
Yeah, I refuse to watch them, so just don't watch them when I'm there. You can look and see how bad at acting I am, and then judge if you want me in any of your films. Yeah. But I will show up though.
Yeah, you gotta make the Tiger Helicide movie too.
Yeah, I gotta make the Tiger Helicide movie.
Yeah, but I used to try to make movies when I was younger. Me and some friends, I just had like a video camera and we would film stuff. I used to like to do that. I wasn't like serious about it or anything, but it's just really fun to do.
We could do this.
Yeah,
we'll start our movie production company.
We used to. We have this really horrible film now. Back in the day, we didn't see it as offensive, and then now, looking back, it was a zombie film, and it's 40-year-old virgin type offensive. You know, the jokes that I would not like my name being next to.
Yeah.
Where can we find it?
It's on YouTube. Just type
What's
in
it called?
Abstinence Could Save Your Life.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. And don't hate me as a person.
Who else did that?
Brandon Will, our bass player.
All right, bring everybody down with you.
I feel like I've heard that.
I'm looking at this now.
Yeah. It's terrible. By the way, we are sorry about the butt of that joke. It was a terrible joke, and we apologize. Yeah. Kevin, have you delved into filmmaking at all?
So I kind of made a music video once for Apollo 11. Has 1,000 views on YouTube. It's god awful. So if you want to laugh at something, if you want to know how not to do something, look at it.
What's the name of the video?
Are we talking about the band or the video?
It's
no.
You know we're getting lured to talk about aliens, and Kevin needs to be here.
We have to.
That's very fun for me to rein him in.
What's the name of the video?
See, I'm trying to remember which song it's for.
Was it their biggest video, probably? If we talk about
actually, it's probably not. It's probably The Getaway.
Probably The Getaway. You can also send it to us later. We can add it on the notes for the podcast. But that's awesome. So you've had your hand in directing as well. I heard that you had a film possibly about flight.
Yeah, it was made, and it's not out now. It was up, and I can send. I have it still on YouTube, just private, but you can send people links. I can send that over. I'm still figuring out exactly what I want to do to that to fix it. I've gotten sequels written to something that's not actually got people to watch already too, which is I do have that problem where I get ahead of myself, or I can get really nice stories, because if there's one thing I can say that I can do right is write the stories, which if I ever were to be in some position where I can make money doing it, that's what I would bet myself. Yeah, that's what I would bet on myself.
Be a writer.
Yeah, I can do that. And there's certain aspects of directing that, of course I'm not a professional in either of them, but there's certain aspects of directing I can see myself doing too. But
Definitely.
Yeah, but as far as being a cinematographer, that's the word. Being that and acting and things, I don't. I'm not the best actor, and I don't have really an interest in doing that, truly. Although I am acting in something that's coming out later this year. We're actually filming the last bit of it this weekend. Mm-hmm. It's called In Beautiful Dreams, and it's my friend Nick Adrian. He put out something called Smash House. I don't know if you saw that anywhere on the internet.
No, I've not.
We got stuff. We got to check.
Check that out.
You're giving us some homework here.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Him and one of my best friends, Jay Dial, made it. I was in youth group with Jay Dial when we were younger and stuff, and now he's at JSU, and he met this guy named Nick, and they're both really cool, and they're both doing filmmaking too, and they're from the area, and it's called Smash House, and it's really good. You can check it out. I think it came out last summer, but I'm doing something with the two of them now, and it's revolves around this like kid that has like some girl break up with him, and he's like, I don't want to say obsessive, but he's like just really sad about it all the time, and it's like him getting over it. And it's like one of those things that's like there's like a film within a film, like they're trying to make a documentary within the movie, which I always think that's a really cool concept. But yeah, and there's some stuff I can send you from that pretty soon too.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I was the protagonist in a horror film. It was like a short film, and it was fun because I actually got like full makeup where they broken my nose, like, because I was supposed to get beat to death and gutted. I got to lay on the ground, and they hired this. They paid this woman like $300 to do all the makeup.
Nice.
Yeah, the film's actually very well done. That was the worst part of it.
Where's that at?
It's probably on YouTube.
What's it called? Bookmark it.
I don't know what it's called actually, but I know that Philip
These
Allen
things on
directed.
YouTube we're not prepared to talk about.
Yeah, I know R.J. Oritz and Alex, I forget his name. They did the sound, and then Philip Allen wrote it and co-directed it, and he was in Extra Life with Kyle Adams, by the way. Fun fact, pop-up video. But so it was a lot of fun. I got murdered on screen.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Favorite movie ever.
Also, are there any other all the other projects you probably have in your brain, and you're probably like gonna
there's
you
nothing,
probably
anything else you want to share
talk about, or is there anything you want to share?
There's like a couple of like short scripts that I've written that I plan to film in a timely manner, like within like a couple of months.
Definitely.
There's the old, I don't know exactly what it's, I think it's just called Wolfman maybe. The old Wolfman film, the ones where he it's like
the Lon Chaney Jr. ones.
I think that's him. Yeah. I wrote something that's kind of short, and it's like it takes place now, but it's like I wrote it to where it'd be shot for shot, like a remake of that scene, because that's like one of my favorite scenes in any like horror thriller movie.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
like there's something like that. I've got some stuff written because I'm trying to do more original things than superheroes, because that is like one of my favorite things. Like I live and breathe comic books, but like I think there's a beauty in doing things that you have no obligations to stick to something,
Definitely.
like because when I write something like when I wrote Flight, what we ended up filming was so different from the script, but it didn't matter because there was nothing people okay, so for instance, if I made Peter Parker, like if I made him like a dick to everybody and like a killer, people will be like, what are you doing, like why would you do that? But like if I make freaking John from Flight a killer, there's nothing, there's no base material for that. But I wrote something, because I do like superheroes, I wrote something that's about superheroes in Gadsden in a kind of a Watchmen-esque kind of thing, like one dies and they're outlawed, and it's that kind of thing.
I would love to be a part of any of that. So if you ever need anybody, just let me know. I have a lot of fun doing that. I actually do enjoy acting.
I'm a hideous, terrible actor.
I'm terrible, but
I am so especially bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
Like no, I mean it's amazing how awful I am.
But yeah, I cannot say better things about R.J. Oritz and like Alex. I can't remember his last name right now, but they from Huntsville.
Because you hate him.
Killer. No, because he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Like kill Alex. I can't believe you said that.
They just like
Jesse wants Alex dead. I can't.
They
believe
did such a great job with the films. Who's your favorite superhero? I'm guessing Spider-Man.
No, actually. I love Spider-Man. My top 3 favorite characters in anything are SpongeBob, Spider-Man, and Ant-Man. And Ant-Man is like my favorite superhero.
Oh,
and
that's interesting.
And it's Hank Pym specifically. Like I don't hate Scott Lang or anything, because Hank Pym and like Scott Lang don't have like the same origin stories, but they have like a similar. There's like a similar theme. It's like the you do something wrong, you live a terrible life, and then you end up being good in the end, right? Like how Scott Lang was a thief, and then he gets the Ant-Man suit, and he's awesome. And then like and my thing that makes me like Hank Pym so much is the him beating his wife, which makes me sound terrible, but like the
how favorite part.
Yeah, how he comes back.
Rewind.
Yeah, how he comes back from that though, and then he has that constant struggle, which I think like in things like superhero movies we don't see that with many characters. I'm sure like the most famous Iron Man story is Demon in a Bottle, because he's an alcoholic and he's struggling with that. Ant-Man's entire backstory is that it's him on and off hitting Janet, or being addicted to some drug, or like just going insane. Which that's one of my favorite things about the Ultimate comic books, is that they really amp that up and they make it like he's a hero, but like he's selfish, which is something I can almost identify with. Like I don't hit any women or do anything bad like that, but I'm like extremely selfish at times,
Yeah.
So there's that character, and there's a glimmer of hope for people that are dumb and make bad decisions. So I like that's why I like that character so much, you know.
And they do touch on a little bit of his like horrible past in the films, but it's nothing to that extent.
No, nothing.
And I was not expecting such a well articulated answer like that. What's your favorite superhero? She was like, oh, this dude because stuff.
What's yours? Is
This guy because he beats his wife.
Yeah.
My favorite superhero is Spider-Man because
understandable.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like
Of course.
I mean I don't know because I can always
'Cause
relate
it's
to
lame.
like trying to help people and they accidentally die.
Yeah.
This tends to be my life.
Yeah.
Trying to help my family out and it turns out they get shot by a sniper or something. And I could always relate to being late and I could always relate to pining after some girl. And
hands down the most relatable
Snapping
character.
a girl's neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That kind of
if people around me die, man. So I don't know, but
Your loved ones also get cloned.
yes. We were eventually gonna figure out how to clone me on the podcast so I can take over and have 3 me's.
Hit up Jackal.
Yes, and I do I do love some Scarlet Spider, but as far as like Spider-Man goes, my 2 rules that I lived by growing up were like do unto others as you would like for them to do unto you, and that sounded like unto you.
Yeah.
Don't do under you.
Yes, do under me, down under me. But and with great power comes great responsibility. I thought those were always
Especially somebody's
like,
under
good
you.
things to.
Yeah.
Yes, and plus always like the whole like romanticism like with Mary Jane. Everything. Anyway, Kevin, who is your favorite superhero?
I'm gonna say Wolverine because he's short.
Nice.
Just like your answer.
Yes.
Is that what you're gonna
That's
go
my
with?
answer.
That's your full
Yes.
vote. All right, cool.
Hey, everybody's got something they relate to.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
That's
short superhero when I was growing up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he is the first. He is the first short. Which is kind of sucky. They got Hugh Jackman to play him. Like he's a great actor and everything,
Yeah.
but like he's so tall
Yeah.
and not. So it's,
That's why they wanted originally they were talking to Glenn Danzig about doing it at one point because he's at the time.
I forgot about that.
At the time, it took him so long to get that damn movie made. And when they were first talking, Danzig was at like the height of his career, so it would have seemed logical to get him.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just freaking looked like Wolverine. He had the giant sideburns,
Yeah.
and
Back when he was in
he was
shape.
short. Yeah, he's all buff and everything. So
I'm sure the directors would have loved
yeah,
working with him.
except he had crazy New Jersey accent. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It'd be like boop, boop.
We love you, dear.
actors can fix the accents.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian Bale's accents and things are. It's
Yeah.
just I think he's like a one of a kind actor though. But like watching him in interviews switch back and forth between accents like flawlessly almost. I saw an interview when he was filming. What was that terrible Terminator he was in?
Oh yeah, and he stayed in character while he was yelling. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Kinda like
crazy.
that one.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite things that's ever happened.
South.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie was good, but the rant was better.
Yeah.
I thought. So you were in a band called TV Attackers,
Oh yeah.
and we actually saw you guys play at Cosmic Debris, and it was actually one of my most memorable shows. It was a lot of fun. Do you have anything to say about the band?
Yeah, actually, and if you had asked me like a month ago, I would have been like, no, we haven't done anything in so long, and we still haven't. But like, I occasionally go down to the music room because we've got one built in our new house even after we moved, and it's like, man, this used to be my life. This used to be what I did every day, and now I still listen to music for probably like a solid 12 hours of the day. I have something playing, but making it has not been as big of a role as it has back when in 2014 when we 2000 whatever when we put out that EP the Dragon one or whatever. But
Yes, I was saying. I vaguely unless I had a Mandela effect going on. I remember songs about killing the dragon.
yes,
And
yeah.
those were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole. I think it was maybe seven tracks of that. There was like 4 real songs, but like 3 in between techno stuff because I thought that was cool then.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still cool. All
Yeah,
that.
I like it. I like the thing. There's a track that's not on there that y'all did. What was it that? Is it just a date or does it have a name? Does it have keyboard? And
Oh
stuff?
yeah. It was just like July something.
Yeah, but that actually influenced a Tiger Helicide song.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Suicide is a long-winded suicide. Oh wait, suicide long-winded suicide.
A diary is a
Diary is a
long-winded
long-winded
suicide.
suicide note. But that because it was it sounds like it's something that's really deep and sad and
Yeah.
powerful, but then also played like wrong,
Yeah.
kind of. So that appealed to me. So when I got these idiots jamming, then it sounded like that.
Yeah, I just started playing something on the piano, I think, when we were recording that, and that just kind of turned into that song.
Yeah.
Just him and Jacob. Like I don't play.
That stuff always happens like that, honestly. Or just from what I know, the things I'm the most proud of happen like that. Like that in particular, when we recorded it, we weren't going in there recording music that day. I guess like. Because we never recorded in a studio. It was just mics like this, maybe not even this good. So it was like, whenever we felt like recording, we did it. That day we were just practicing and stuff because we were gonna play a show soon after that. And we went in and I did that, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Let me just play some drums to that." And we did that, and then we're like, "Okay, so what lyrics do we do?" And then we tried a couple of things. We're like, "Nah, we're just gonna leave like this."
Like that.
Yeah, I like it like that. But actually, like, Jace, who was the drummer, he's my best friend, still is my best friend. I don't see much of him anymore. We haven't played probably since like 2016, which we recorded music then, but I never finished.
No.
Like that was gonna be a little bit better done too. Like I actually was like mixing stuff for that one, and we never put that out because we never actually finished all the drum tracks, and we had actually started using a bass then, which was like
big time.
yeah, that was big time for the band that just had vocals and drums for a month. Before I decided I was gonna play whatever on the guitar, whatever like Joy Division rip-off riffs I wanted to do.
Oh, yeah, that's how you do it. I mean, Andy and I's current band that we just started last week, so I'm sure it's gonna last. Is just it's just bass and drums and vocals because I can't play guitar and do the correct amount of vocals. So we're just trying to make Jacob Reagan and Jared as mad as possible. But I think we're gonna add guitar as soon as we can find a consistent like guitarist. We're like math 098 rock basically.
Nice.
But
there's not much of that here.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That always makes me excited. Like there was some band I saw at Maggie's that was not the kind of music I listened to at all.
Was it Eyes on Lips?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it was
They're
that.
my favorite local band.
Yeah. I saw them and I was like, this is good. There's nothing like this here. Yeah. Maggie's was a good spot for shows. I mean, it may still be. I don't know.
He has shows at this place called Maggie's Doghouse now, and it's
Really?
the same band. Yeah, we saw Eyes on Lips like what a week or two ago.
Yeah.
I saw them again. Dude,
Yeah.
we're like they're getting crazier and crazier with their stuff. But he dropped the 8-string
We
guitar.
call it less good.
Yeah. There's so many bands there that I see that I think this is different.
Adam hating over there.
No,
Really?
I like them. I just worry they're going to get too good because what they're doing. I feel like they're going to keep trying to take it further and further and eventually accidentally sound like somebody else.
Well, Kyle's gonna give me bass lessons.
So that's what
be prepared.
I always worry. I always worry about that kind of. So it's not that they're bad. I don't think they're bad. I think they're great. But
Adam hates everything. So.
But I worry about like people. Like when they think they get good, they just sound like their favorite stuff, and it's like you're not as good.
That's something. I don't remember word from word what my dad said about that, and I get everything he says mixed up. Like
I don't think we should probably say who your dad is. We keep referencing your dad.
My dad's Brad Norris. Yeah.
We talked about him before.
Brad Norris. Go to Moxie
Salon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what band to plug there, but
Listen to False Sons.
Yeah, False Sons. I guess that's the. I think there's. I don't know if I should say. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. It'll be a while before this is out. I think he's doing stuff with Snakebeard right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's been so long since I've heard him do any like practice with them at all, which I don't know, because he goes off to band practice, and I don't know what he's practicing with, or if it's Divine Shakes or False Sons, and he could have been doing some of them lately, but I know they're doing some recordings there, so I guess that's some good GADcast exclusive stuff. No one else knows.
Sweet. Yeah,
but,
dropping a little Comic-Con,
Yeah.
Easter eggs on us.
Yeah. But I get things he mixed up that he says all the time, and I'll do something, and I'll be like, I did that, and he's like, why'd you do that? And I'm like, well, you said that. He's like, that's not what I said at all. But what you were saying about like sounding like
shout kill, right?
Yeah. What you were saying about like sounding too much like your favorite stuff. He told me, I think I was in the 7th grade, and that was like or 8th grade. That was like the height of TV Attackers stuff. He was like, do what you want to do. He's like, have your own sound. Don't listen to something and like want to do that exactly. He's like, you can want to. He's like, but he's like, don't be your own thing.
Yeah.
Which I guess he's probably said that about many things in life, just in different scenarios. So I guess I probably didn't mix that up too much.
Yeah.
But like my favorite band is The Strokes, or anything Julian Casablancas does. But I don't want to make music like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's reserved for him almost. Like I don't want to touch it because like all this stuff that I'm doing now, which I have been recording music, and that's why there is something to say about TV Tigers now, is that I realized that that Dragon EP that we did came out almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So on the 5th anniversary, there's something that I'm gonna I'm re-recording some of the stuff off of that, and I'm gonna do an ultimate mix of that EP, things that I'm recording now that go along with it, and some stuff that we had recorded that didn't go on that. So I'm thinking of putting that out.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, in like January.
We'll promote it. We'll do
Sweet.
everything.
Yeah, just let us know where, and if there's anything you'd like to plug right now, go for it.
Right.
Just tell us where we can find it. If not, we'll drop it. Later.
The stuff from 2014 is on Bandcamp. It's just tvattackers.bandcamp, I'm pretty sure, .com or whatever.
tvattackers.bandcamp.com or whatever.
That sounds right.
Yeah, yeah. I think the band's name is before the .bandcamp, right?
Yeah,
it's not slash. Yeah,
it's always whatever.
Okay,
so
yeah,
it's like .bandcamp.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we have the Dragon EP on there, and I think we have one song about video games and politics on there too.
Sweet.
So,
those are two of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Two things that are destroying the world.
Yes.
Video games and politics.
All those kids playing GTA. All these kids playing GTA that are shooting people. You know.
Oh yeah.
All because they play GTA.
Yes.
Adam hates video games and politics.
Aren't you a proud owner of a Nintendo Switch though?
I am a proud owner.
Okay, that's what
he loves video games.
I love my Nintendo Switch.
And he loves discussing politics.
I like being mad at politics.
Yeah. Hey, we collectively mad, and sometimes we argue.
I studied political science for like a year. And
that's what I'm thinking.
And that was enough, because once it became clear that everybody there knew how the sausage was made, but then like still loved the nastiest sausage, so it just kind of got old. It's like, now this sausage is made when you clean it up off the floor, and then they're just like, I'm still voting for that guy.
As weird as that analogy was, I understand.
Yeah,
That's so true.
He had me in sausage, and I was like, oh, nastiest sausage, and then I was like,
yeah, it's so sad. It's like really easy to be mad at politics, which I feel like should be the case, you know.
Yeah.
Like we should live in a world where like.
We should be able to just discuss it.
Yeah, you should be able to discuss it, and I guess it'd be civil, and then not have so many things to be mad at.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a Smiths lyric that I don't want to say I live my life by anything, because I feel like I'm constantly changing my mind about how I feel about everything.
That's me too.
But there's a Smiths lyric that's like it takes strength to be gentle and kind, something like that. I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And it's totally out of context in this scenario. I think he's talking about like hating a girlfriend or something in that song. But like
it's art though. It can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
All the Smith songs come from just like books and newspaper stories and everything.
That's true.
Because everybody always says like Morrissey always just sings about his life. He's just singing about himself. It's like he never sings about himself. He always sings about everything but himself all the time. It's great, but I'm saying
he's so ironically. No, I won't say ironic. He's like makes fun of depression almost. Yeah, like which I think sometimes I'm like that's kind of like insensitive. At the same time, I'm like sometimes it's better to have it made fun of, right?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of good to laugh at it because he's obviously depressed. Even though he's got like a massive ego. Like I mean, because only like if you have an ego that big,
most singers, and I mean I'm sure you could attest to this with your dad. Most singers, like they're just singers, have massive egos.
Mm-hmm. Back to
but no, that is something though that happens with a lot of singers where that's why you always hear about the singers, these bands where the singer's insufferable and the band's just like okay, like why am I using Guns N' Roses? I hate Guns N' Roses.
I was about to say Axl Rose was a gentleman and a scholar.
That's an example, but like the Sex Pistols would say that about John Lydon. They'd be like we need him to be our front man, but this is what a front man's like. Mm-hmm. It's just like he's gonna drive us crazy, and that's not always the case.
Adam, aren't you just the singer now for Tiger Helicide?
Oh crap! We take it back.
That's not the point.
What's the
Kevin? Don't you have? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, what was the band that the dude from the Sex Pistols was in before then?
No, he after Sex Pistols.
Public Enemy.
Yeah, I actually like that band.
They're great. I like both of them.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just trying to remember
I want to see that new documentary, the Public Image is Rotten.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
It looks like it'd be good because I actually talked to some of the other members too.
We should make dip or something, buffalo chicken dip, and watch it.
Yes.
Whatever, some sort of tasty treat. You all should all join us.
Yeah. By the way, that is tvattackers.bandcamp.com.
Okay.
tvattackers.bandcamp.com.
It's on my phone. My phone is made by Samsung.
That's gonna be the loudest thing ever.
Phones don't explode anymore.
Yeah. Kevin, don't you actually have did you go to school for economics, or was it?
I teach political science.
Have you been to school?
He teaches political
Oh,
science.
where at?
University of Georgia.
Oh, nice. I almost went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
What
was.
stopped you?
Found out Kevin was there.
No,
If you're like the right age, I could have taught you.
Yeah, it was I think it was money and better scholarships in other places. Like now I'm going to UNA in Florence because they were we'll pay for almost everything, and I'm like, well, I'll take that deal.
Yeah, all the money.
Yeah.
See, I've always been I've always had a drawing towards politics ever since the Iraq War and stuff. But my brother, he's a professor of sociology at Georgia Tech, which if you don't have him on Facebook, you should add him, Alan Hyde.
I don't believe I do.
Because I'll send you a link to him because I think you guys would enjoy talking to each other.
Yeah, I'm sure he just loves to talk more about politics.
That's what we do all.
Yeah.
Doesn't get enough of it.
How is the teaching going?
So I teach Intro to American Government / Georgia Politics, and I love it. I teach 60 students a semester.
Cool.
I take 3 classes toward a PhD every semester, and I teach 2, so
That's
it's a good
awesome.
balance.
Yeah, the first class I had my brother teach, first 2, he came from UAB, graduated, went to Connecticut, and then it was race, class, and gender, and urban sociology or something so it was city living, and it was pretty interesting.
Where do you take that at?
He taught those at University of Connecticut, and then he got his PhD and moved up to Georgia Tech, and right now he's got some. He's doing some class where he's got people going out and interviewing people in a place that's about to be gentrified. So they're interviewing the people that currently live there, and they're kind of doing something like that for the class. So I think you'd really enjoy talking to him a lot.
Even though University of Georgia sounds really fancy, we don't offer anything like that.
Yes,
that's too progressive.
Yes, sociology is it's an interesting field, and if I could go back, I would love to have done that. Or I was just major in business, everybody else. But so now that we're on to Kevin, Jesse, you have any final words before you join the Kevin cast?
Final words before you get done in.
What's your favorite era of comics?
Era. Oh, jeez. It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just depends on what comic company and what set of characters, honestly. Because if it's something as big as the Avengers, I think the 70s was their strongest point.
Mm-hmm.
But excluding the Infinity Gauntlet stuff. But then if it's X-Men, early 90s X-Men, I think that's what has made the X-Men something worth putting in a movie.
Oh yeah.
So. And then DC, DC has so many strong points. They don't have very many bad points. But I think probably my favorite DC comic, which I guess it was very reflective of that era, is the one where Joker is I'm a really big bad guy, so I'm just gonna put piranhas in all the water. That's my big villain plan. I like that era of comics. It was so dumbed down, but it still had some of the best stories, even though there was no high stakes.
The blue costume Batman with the white eyes is always my favorite.
Yeah.
I love the blue costume.
That's 60s-ish, right? 70s.
I mean,
70s.
They did it
70s.
all
Through
over.
the 80s.
I don't remember, but also, I think my favorite, as far as DC Comics goes, Blackest Night was my favorite time period, which is ridiculous because everyone's gonna hate me. I'm biased.
Yeah.
And also,
that's not too long ago. Right?
Yeah,
that was 10 years. Maybe?
Yeah, Grant Morrison's Batman run, where Dick Grayson was Batman.
That's probably one of my favorites.
And
actually.
Damian was Robin.
Yeah.
Anything Grant Morrison writes, almost anything Frank Miller, Alan Moore write, and those are very era.
Base.
Yeah, era-based comics. So I guess there we go. Frank Miller era. That's my favorite. Yeah.
Anything Frank Miller puts on
Twitter.
Twitter.
Grant Morrison. Just don't get it.
You don't get?
No.
I don't like anything I've read by him.
Really?
Did you read his first Batman thing, the Serious House on Serious Earth? So I know that's more something to look at than to read.
I don't even know if I actually read that.
That's the Arkham Asylum book.
Arkham Asylum book.
That's good.
Yeah, that one.
I mean,
I like that.
That thing's a beautiful piece of art. Some of it's hard to read, but
yeah, it looks
just literally hard to read. You can't read the font, But I don't know. The Grant Morrison Batman stuff. A lot of people really hate it, and I feel like
I hate his X-Men.
I kind of get where they come from it because
I can see that. Yeah.
I feel like he's doing 2 great ideas at once. He's making it. He's taking all these characters and kind of just just making them more crazy and psychedelic and just weird and arty and poetic and just taking it in that direction. But then he's also going and like just looking at the history of Batman, and like he's trying to work everything in. So like in his run of like everything Batman, when he was just doing all starting with Batman just running through, he was throwing every bit of Batman history in there. Like he even like the Batman Inc. stuff came from him studying the advertising for the '89 Batman movie.
Yeah, Batman Inc. was
So
so
all
weird.
that stuff, everything goes back to that. Goes back to all the old stuff. Like he has, like in his version of it, Batman, Robin really did have a time period where they were running around like in the '60s, just dealing with stuff like that, and that was some of the funnest times. And then things started getting crazier, and they started getting just gassed and drugged all the time, and they didn't even know what was going on in their lives, and their lives sort of fell apart. And so all that stuff like still
he
happens.
tries to wrap the weird 50 stories into canon. Right?
Yeah. I mean, he wrapped the manga in there.
Oh,
And takes a seriously talented writer to do stuff like that.
He seriously put that stuff in there. Like he put Lord Deathman in
He
there.
has layers.
He put the first Red Hood in there too, right? Like he had worked the 80s.
Yeah, he's working that in there.
Yeah.
So
So I want to know, because Jesse didn't ask us, he asked him.
Why don't you care about our favorite superheroes?
Adam, who's your favorite comic book character?
It is sort of Batman. It's the Bat family. I like Batman when he's when he's in the thick of just having like 15 Robins around. No, not 15 Robins. But when he has a whole bunch of the Robins and he has like the Batgirls, like right before the New 52. Like how many people had Batman adopted? Because he had even like adopted Stephanie Brown and shit. Like he was adopting just everybody, which I like the idea of this like.
I work alone.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's always like, I gotta do this by myself. Kids, that way. But I like him having an extended family. I like him having all these. Now I do get tired if he's all like, I'm going by myself, and everybody else is just like, and then you just go through all that crap. But when they actually are working together and they're all running around doing stuff, I like that. I like them being close. You know, the Red Hood just grudgingly comes along like, okay, I'm gonna help here. You know? That kind of thing.
Yeah, they kind of brought that back. I think it was like whatever was after the New 52. It's the DCU or whatever that was.
The new stuff.
Yeah, they had We Are Robin, which is a book that I really liked. It was none of those characters. It was just these kids that were like orphans after something that the Joker had done to Gotham, and that was pretty cool. They had like a whole team of like fake Robins, and that was kind of back.
I got out of it right when that came in. I need to go back and check it out.
Oh, most of it's garbage. Most of it's surrounding that's garbage. That's like one good and like a pile of just bad.
I really liked a lot of Scott Snyder's stuff, and I kind of got out while he was still writing a lot. But Scott Snyder's thing was sort of similar in a way in concept to, I feel like, Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison had this really good classic, like, I want to have classic Batman. Let's just try to capture the essence of Batman. And that's sort of what Scott Snyder was doing, but in a different way. Because both of them, you could almost apply like they were using the same logic that they did when they made Batman, the animated series. Mm-hmm. Scott Snyder, more so. Scott Snyder, you can really see it. Because it's like, Scott Snyder, a lot of his, like, especially his first Batman stuff is, like, it's Batman, the animated series, with horror added.
Yeah.
Like he literally just like, let's add horror to Batman the animated series. That's almost what it is, like through a lot of it. It feels good, it feels classic, and a lot of people react to that better.
Yeah, it works really well when you blend something of yourself with something that's already there. And then it's kind of like its own thing, even though it's classic, you know. So
like the thing before. What are you doing? Why are you pointing at me?
Oh, I was saying we should ask Andy at some point.
Batman's my favorite too.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
like,
so just keep going with the Batman
that's
comments.
fine. Yeah, that's three for Team Marvel and two for Team
I
DC.
just felt bad because we were like running like really long, and Andy's like looked like he was ready to say like who his favorite superhero was. Anyway, what were you saying, Adam?
Well, now I've lost it.
You
just missed the moment.
Something about Batman, I think. Do you remember?
You're talking about Scott Snyder's Batman?
Yeah, well,
look at his memory over there.
It's like a steel trap.
Because I was like fully in this conversation. But, anticipating every word he said before he said it, you know.
But Scott, what I was gonna say is, what was it? Scott Snyder's first. He wrote just before the New 52, and was it just called Black Mirror? Was it Black Mirror?
Possibly. I remember that coming out, but something like that.
But that's the one that dealt with Jim Jr.
Yeah,
Commissioner Gordon's son.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
he was like a murderer.
Yeah.
Right?
So
that's a good.
So that was the spoilers.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoops.
Except you can see it a million miles away.
Yeah,
That's
nobody
the only
spoilers for
thing. They're
comics
like,
anymore.
maybe
That's
years
the
ago.
thing.
I don't know.
But-
The first issue, they didn't tell you like the third or something in that story. That first issue, I was like, I don't know what's going on.
I always thought that was crazy that they never showed. They had up to that point hadn't shown what had happened to James Jr.
Yeah.
Like they had it they had him as a baby in year one. Was it year one that he was in that?
Yeah,
and then
it
you're just
was.
like, no, we're not gonna. Nobody's decided to tackle that at all for all
Yeah.
these years. We're not gonna worry about it.
Year one was
The first
pretty
year. I think.
solid. Yeah, it was pretty solid. That was when I was like, whoa, James Gordon is like awesome. And then I was like, I'm tired of Gotham. Like, don't do Gotham anymore.
Gotham's great.
It's okay.
He
Gotham.
just keeps getting better.
Gotham. I know. I was gonna say.
Okay.
Gotham is the best superhero show on television.
I agree.
It
I agree.
It is.
It's the definition of beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
It's like doing like a prequel to episode 1 of Star Wars. It's like let's have Bruce Wayne. It's like a 6-year-old crying and
When was the last time you watched the show?
It's the most punk rock superhero thing.
That's true. I think they've drawn it out too long though. You know?
Okay, well, I've caught recent stuff with Jerome and stuff, but I need to get further into it. But like right now,
Not
I'm
that
just
reason.
like,
if you're talking about Jerome.
oh really? Is there
Yeah,
more?
he's 2
So-
seasons ago.
So should I stick it
Yeah,
out?
you
Because
like,
really,
like Jerome.
well,
You should
okay.
go back and watch it. Watch the whole thing. It's only going to
Okay,
come back.
Has a
fast.
bat suit
but-
come on
but-
yet?
No. What?
But Adam,
Like
have
how
you-
you don't like
have you actually, like,
just
given
fast
the-
forward through those parts?
Yeah.
Just follow the villain story.
They
I'm
kind
on-
of
I'm on
have like a
season 2 or
rubberish
3.
Batman suit now,
That's
but then
cool.
he wears like occasionally. I don't know. I haven't really
Yeah.
kept up with it because I would expect like this season they're gonna like develop more to where it gets more like a Batman thing.
Yeah,
and
they
then
have
it's
to.
still not.
Yeah.
They only have half a season more coming.
Okay,
Oh,
because
really?
I thought Fish Mooney was annoying. I thought Penguin was
I like
annoying.
how far-
Penguin is fantastic.
Penguin reminds me of.
Penguin gets better. He gets way
Really?
better.
But
Yeah.
Penguin's like the reason to watch the show for
Exactly.
the longest time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then that was part. The reason why I watched the show is because of the guy who played James Gordon,
Yeah.
and also Catwoman was cool whenever she
But
popped up.
was the guy who played James Gordon really that good in the beginning of the show? What were you getting out of that? No wonder you left it because he really was not good in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Well, you think he's
in
good
the
at the
beginning,
beginning?
he's just walking around like, I'm just busy being boring while everybody around me's being interesting. I'm still
he's
bored.
not even a good
And they're like,
cop
you're
at
such a
first.
Boy Scout. And he's like, I'm
Nobody
bored.
was interesting to me though.
Well,
I got interested when all of a sudden
It's like, no wonder his
Jerome
girlfriend
showed
left him for
up.
another girl.
Jerome showing up took it like
You know?
but even then it was just
Yeah.
kind of like I want a Batman show.
Yeah.
Like don't show me like Obi-Wan Kenobi is a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's just I hate prequels. Like I
Yeah.
hate them.
Yeah, I don't like that show when you compare it to like the shows that they have on CW. Like the CW shows, I think are better.
See,
And I know
we're
Adam
arrows.
hates those
I
shows.
can't. I can't
But-
do any more CW
No, I
shows.
can't-
I
I
did
can't take
Flash
it.
for the longest time, and I got tired of 6 million speedster villains.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm done with this.
No, I hate-
I was
I-
like
I-
Daredevil is good, and I can
No,
watch
but-
all of it at once.
But
See,
the
the
new
new seasons, he's not even a
No.
speedster. Though.
It's
it's DeVoe, right? Yeah, I think you're.
But the
Yeah,
CW
that's pretty
stuff
good.
is just like them. I mean, it's too soap opera-y, and it's
Yeah,
too like them
I can
just
see that.
catering to their lame
You said you
fan
were
base
agree.
stuff. I mean,
Totally agree.
the first 2 seasons of Arrow was good.
Yes.
I
and
agree.
like the,
Yeah, I like how it
the
had real
first season
superheroes
of
in
The
it.
Flash, if you cut out half of what was happening in those episodes, is good. And then everything else, I'm
I
watching
hated
like,
Iris for so long.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Iris
I
sucked
don't-
because here's the thing.
Iris
She was
still
even a
sucks.
she was even a crappy actress.
Yeah.
She's over there just like, hi everybody, and just like,
Oh, I
Yeah,
can't
why
believe you
don't you
guys
hate-
like Gotham and then hate them.
Oh, I don't love Gotham.
because
either.
Gotham, everybody's over the top and they're exciting and you watch.
Exciting.
And you watch The Flash. The Flash is like Kevin Smith is going like, I don't know why they didn't get the guy from the show to be in the movie. It's like the fact he's not funny or
Yeah.
fun to be around or exciting.
Well,
Well,
Being depressed.
I haven't seen
Grant
Ezra
Gustin-
Miller's The
Like
Flash.
everybody
Oh, you haven't
else
seen
on
Justice League?
Yeah, Ezra Miller. I haven't seen Justice League.
Yeah,
I'll
like-
probably watch it tonight.
But like
actually.
everybody on the
Be
Flash,
careful.
everybody on the Flash
Yeah.
TV show is a giggling, bumbling idiot, except for the
That's
Flash.
why I love it.
who
It's my
actually-
favorite comic show.
Except in the world of the Flash, it's the exact opposite.
Yes.
Wait,
The
wait,
exact
wait.
opposite. The Flash is supposed to be the idiot.
I know, but
And
like,
you're just watching him being like, oh, I'm depressed and sad.
but their
I'm Bruce
crossovers
Wayne,
are
but I'm not.
amazing. And you know what
I'm
they
fast
have?
running Bruce Wayne.
They have actual superheroes in them instead of just James Gordon
Yeah.
with a mustache.
I
Really?
can-
When was the last time you watched Gotham?
Oh my God, probably.
See, if
you
he's
haven't
only
seen,
seen-
you haven't seen any metahumans running around or anything like that?
No, No, so okay.
It's the best Scarecrow costume
are you guys-
ever.
Are we supposed to?
The Scarecrow did look pretty cool on that.
Are we supposed to have a whole bunch of great big over the top super villains on a Batman show? I thought you said you wanted a Batman show.
Well, we're supposed to at least have Batman on the Batman show.
On the street level.
Yeah.
It's not a Batman show.
I don't want a
the
Batman
Joker
show.
wasn't gonna
I think
come
it'd be too
flying
much.
in.
The Bat family is your favorite part of Batman,
Yeah.
and zero of the family, from what I understand.
They've done Graysons. They've got Alfred. They've got the Graysons. I'm
Alfred's
sure
awesome.
they've mentioned.
Alfred doesn't count. They're gonna.
Alfred's
Alfred
awesome on
doesn't
that
count as
show.
the Bat family.
He is the
the
Bat
original
Yeah,
family.
where's his bat?
Bat family.
Where's his bat?
The Bat family is everybody who's with him.
I know, but like obviously we're not gonna see Alfred's like
there.
ex-CIA or
And,
something.
what's his name is there?
They've got
Batman
Batgirl
doesn't
in
have a
Gotham.
bat.
already.
Yeah, James Gordon's granddad's there. you know.
James Gordon. They mentioned him having a daughter, or his
Yeah.
girl being pregnant, right?
Catwoman's great grandmother's there.
Yeah.
But like I will watch more. I will watch
Well,
more.
honestly,
of Gotham.
do what I did with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I watched the first season of that.
I love that show.
When it first came out, and I was
Oh.
like, I'm
Yeah,
and
and
then,
all the shit you're talking about. Gotham, you're saying you like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I jumped forward with it. Just jump forward in Gotham. Like, just watch the highlights of like season 2, season 3. Just watch like a couple episodes. Like what I learned with these comic book shows to catch up on the ones when they do too much is you do the first episode of the season, like watch like 2 in the middle, and then do the mid-season finale, and then there's like watch the last 3 episodes of the season, and you get the full story.
So I guess I need to marathon Gotham, and that way I can either eat my foot or.
I've seen all of it that's on Netflix at least right now.
On Netflix.
Yeah.
They have
on
3
Gotham, and
three
it's like
seasons on there?
I think it's 3
Yeah.
seasons. Yeah.
How many? What season are they on
5,
currently?
4.
I think it's 4 and
They've
5.
done 4. They're going into 5, which is going to be half a season.
Yeah. Oh, so they've confirmed it's like the last season and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it says last
they
one.
did say. I remember like in the during the first season when I always keep up with all the comic book news. I actually have a page on Instagram that I've run for like 4 years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's just I just post news and stuff on there. But yeah, but well, but I remember like posting when the first season came out of that show. They were like the last season or the last episode of the last season, the last moment will show him putting on the suit and jumping off a building with a bat suit on. And so I guess I may start
That's
watching
what I
Gotham
said.
again if they do that in the last season. So.
But I mean,
He's like
The
12.
last-
he's not
Yeah.
12. He's like 15 or 16 now. He's
Yeah.
like 16.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do a
last
time jump. Yeah.
The last season's gonna be No Man's Land. That's the best.
That's what
Batman
they,
story.
yeah. Well,
Really?
They said it has, this last one was No Man's Land. Sort of. That's what they called it. The next season, they're basing it off of 0 year.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's
I'll-
fair.
I'll- I'll
Zero
watch
year-
it.
zero
I
year
can
is
see
the,
a 0 year story without a full Batman.
That's Scott Snyder's. Okay, Scott Snyder was doing his. You know how he was doing his Batman thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wanted to. They wanted him to do kind of like his version of year 1,
Yeah.
and he was like, "There's no way I can do year 1."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he decided to do anything but year 1. It's not year 1, so it's 0 year.
Yeah.
And it had, but that makes sense because the Riddler figures very prominently in 0 year.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the Riddler in the show.
Yeah, he's one of the better parts.
He is. He's all right. There's a lot of good stuff. I like Scarecrow. I like Riddler. I like Jerome. I like Catgirl basically because she's not a woman yet.
Yeah.
She's not girl, but not yet a woman. But
Have you got Mr. Freeze yet?
Yeah.
yes, Mr. Freeze,
He's
but I
awesome.
don't remember.
Yeah,
at
Mr.
all.
Freeze
He's a
is good on there.
hardcore fan. How do you not remember?
Mr. Freeze is great
I'm
on
gonna
there.
They
have
play
to.
shitty hardcore every time he's on screen.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah, they do.
Oh wow.
I feel like they almost killed him in the first episode. The first episode he was in, I almost feel like they almost killed him, and I was like, wait, you can't kill him. Batman's not Batman yet.
That'd be hilarious.
Well,
That's the thing. Is like I know the thing about that show is that you know every one of those villains survives because one, Batman's not Batman to kill him yet or to put
Here's
him
the
away.
thing.
Yeah.
Be an
You
alternate
do,
timeline.
but you don't, because some of the the gangsters, they're dead. Like that
yeah,
were
a
on
lot
the
of
show.
Falcones
Beginning.
are dead.
They're supposed to be in year 1,
Yeah, it's true.
and they don't make it to year 1.
They just make characters
They
name
don't.
the same thing that
Yeah.
are related to them. Like what they do, they've done that with in Smallville. There were so many characters that like had the same name as one
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
kill, and then another one like
Yeah.
that would pop up.
Yeah,
So-
but we don't have the. We don't get the Joker. We get all these guys who are like the Joker.
Yeah,
Which is
and
cool.
now there's 3
Yeah.
Jokers in the comics at the current time.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, by the way, before we move on, my favorite Spider-Man comics, since I was talking about my favorite DC comics, are One More Day, because it destroyed my life.
Someone likes that.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
surprised.
I've not read a Spider-Man comic since One More Day.
That's the one with Mephisto, right?
Yeah.
Kevin
That
read
is-
it and he was like, not one more day.
Yeah, no more days.
Everybody I talked to was like, that ruined Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Everybody told me that.
It made me cry so hard.
Oh, I mean, it made me cry too, but it was terrible.
And then I hate to say it because I'm gonna sound like, oh, this guy's just read 3 Spider-Man comics. How did we read since a little kid? Spider-Man. I loved it. I loved the crossover with Peter Parker and Miles Morales. And I hadn't read Spider-Verse yet because it's $50.
Oh, yeah.
$50.
Spider-Man Blue is the best.
I liked it when
limited run
Spider-Man appeared in
comic.
the Transformers comics.
Do what?
That was pretty good. When Spider-Man appeared in the Transformers
Is that
comics,
true?
that was pretty good.
Yes, that's true.
That sounds amazing.
In the 80s, we didn't even know. Me and my brother bought these. They were actually marked down, and they were Transformers comics. And that was before people really sold things as like trade paperbacks. It was just like this big book about the size of a coloring book with a whole bunch of comics in there. And we're reading it. We're like, Transformers stories. And all of a sudden, like, Spider-Man's in there. And it's Spider-Man when he was wearing, like, the black Venom suit.
Oh, nice.
And it's just like, what the heck is going
Black
on
Suit
here?
Spider-Man and Transformers. This sounds amazing. I wish the symbiote would have gotten
he's
on
just
like,
in there a little bit.
Megatron or
There's like a year and a half where Transformers and G.I. Joe were in the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They had Star Wars in there too for a little bit.
Yep.
I remember.
Yeah, because they had didn't they have like some weird Marvel G.I. Joe figures?
See,
Yeah.
Marvel only survived for a while because Marvel were the ones who used to be always suffering. They only survived for a long time because of their licensed stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Star Wars is a big thing.
Because I remember that picture or that photo of Stan Lee like lighting a cigar with $300 bills, not $300 bills, but $300.
$300.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
He had one made for it. He was so rich he had new currency
with his face. Yeah,
The Transformers.
They're Bitcoin.
The Transformers and G.I. Joe characters were pretty much created by Marvel writers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like Transformers was, well, I mean, you get a lot of this stuff just from watching that Toys and Minutes documentary now, so I won't sound that smart saying everybody's like, I have Netflix. I know what
3
you're
years
telling
ago,
me.
Nobody.
Yeah. But it was Marvel writers that created the characters.
Gadcast out.
I'm Galvatron. I'm not the same, not a little gun. I'm purified Decepticon. All alone, reconstructed, a robot monster, quickly resurrected. In the dark trees, I only need to plan. And to feel like God, that giant floating hand. I was gone, but not for long. No, not Mega, I'm Galvatron. I'm not the same, not a little gun. I'm Decepticon.